Okay, so just intro on who you are and where you're from.
My name's Madi. I'm from the far north, like Waipapakoti, Ahipara, Kaitaia up area. I currently live in Hawera Taranaki with my partner and yeah.
Man, how did you end up all the way down there from way up there?
That's where he lived.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And what makes you want to share your story on the Let Me Speak campaign?
I feel like the journey our daughter took is one, I don't know how to put into words. She lived longer than she was medically expected, so it was herself fighting to live here. That I thought her journey should be shared.
Yep, love that. So where does your journey begin?
So we found out about our daughter. Her name's Kalila J. Like quite early, maybe it's like March, early March. And then you get excited. You tell your family. This was just last year.
And this is your first?
First daughter, yes.
Yep. So that would have been exciting.
It was exciting. It was funny because I told my family I'd never had kids, just to wind them up. So when we did, it was quite exciting because I'm the oldest grandchild on both sides. So she's the first great grandchild, like for my family. But then on her dad's side, she's the youngest great grandchild. So yeah, the scans are going normal. Then come the one at like 19, 20 weeks when they they do in-depth stuff and it's the whole, you find out the gender, that's what everyone refers it to.
Yeah.
You get excited about knowing what your baby's going to be, boy or girl. We found out she was a girl.
How did that feel?
I think we already knew. I was like, well, we knew she was a girl. We had that feeling she was going to be a girl. But it was exciting as well, like knowing there's actually this little human growing in me. So we had like one lady doing our scans, and that was, you could kind of tell something was a bit off because she called another lady. She sent us away for a walk because Kalila was very painful with scans. She'd always hide behind my belly button, so they couldn't see much of her, like it was constant shadowing. So I thought, maybe that's why. We had to go for a walk to try and move her around a bit. And they had found she has a heart condition. It's called a detransposition of the greater arteries.
Wow.
So our arteries are like this, and our heart and hers were like this. And so pretty much the one...
Did they say how that happens?
It's very rare. It's not genetic or they can't make genetic connections anywhere. I think there's not much study on babies in New Zealand. Maybe like 4 babies a year in New Zealand are born with it.
Wow.
We also learned 1 in 100 babies in New Zealand are born with a heart condition. Yeah, so that was a bit shocking to me.
Yeah, I bet.
I was sad because you don't want that kind of stuff for your children. But it didn't matter at the same time because we're like, we'll just get her what she needs. It's all good. It wasn't confirmed then. It was just told she may have that. And so we had to go to Wellington for like a real in-depth scan at the hospital. And this was in June. They just confirmed that she does have it. It's very complex. I don't exactly know how to explain it myself. But it's already like such a rare heart condition. And then she also had every rare side effect possible, which, yeah, it's just pretty shit.
Yeah, I bet.
But like every 4 weeks after that, we came down here to Wellington for a scan. They would check her to see her growth. It was going okay. Nothing new had happened with her heart, like nothing worse, nothing better. It was just the same. Yeah, this continued right up until October. Our last one was like end of September. Maybe
How far along were you by then?
I was probably like 34-ish weeks.
Oh, wow.
And that was our last one here, but we're in lockdown, so last year lockdown. She had to be born in Starship because, or not Starship, sorry, Auckland Hospital, and then we got taken straight to Starship afterwards. During lockdown, it was kind of shitty feeling reading other people's stories about birthing in Auckland while in lockdown. Us also being out of town. It was kind of a scary thought, thinking my partner couldn't join me or anything. But it was actually, I think I just found the right people to talk to, midwives, doctor-wise.
Yeah.
I just said, I want this for my partner, can I get it? And they just gave it. So we both got exemptions to pass through, because there was that border between Hamilton and Auckland.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I actually got an exemption for my mum to drive from Kaitaia to Hawera during lockdown. She picked me up. She came to my baby shower, which I had 2 days before we had to go to Auckland. Then she drove me to Auckland, dropped me off at this apartment place that Ronald McDonald provides for families that are going through Starship. I stayed there for 2 nights by myself. My partner drove up on a Wednesday, I think. Wednesday he drove up. And he joined me, and while I was in Auckland, we actually found out that the blood around, and during the scan, the blood wasn't pumping through her body as strong as it should be. They weren't sure why, because they didn't pick it up 4 weeks earlier. So I was 36 weeks, coming up 37 weeks. They weren't sure why, because they just, in the scan in Wellington here it was fine. Went to Auckland, it was not good. They usually with heart babies they said keep them cooking for as long as they can, just because the bigger they are, the better they handle birth.
Yeah.
Because they just try, for natural birth, it's better for the mum and the baby, in a way, less stress. But she had to come out on the Thursday, which was the day I turned. It was 37 weeks. She was very small, they found that as well. In the scan, she was quite underweight. They put it because of my ethnicity and her dad's. So they categorize it like that. When really I think she was my weight at birth. I was the same as her kind of thing. So I was not fussed with that comment. Being a Māori Islander baby, she should be big. I was like, no, thanks. I don't want to push a big baby. But yeah, I was induced. That was crap. No one tells you how crap being induced is.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I've had a friend who's been induced in, natural stages of labour. She said induced was shit. It was painful.
Oh, fuck, I've never been induced.
I thought it sucked. It was horrible. I was lying there laughing, crying through my pains. But I was just thinking, got to get this little girl out safely. I was lucky that my partner could be in the room.
Yeah.
So 5:30 in the morning I was induced. Come 8:13 she was born. That's quite exciting.
Yeah.
But you knew it was, what's the word? It was serious, because I didn't just have a midwife.
Yeah.
I had a midwife, plus another midwife, plus a NICU nurse, plus doctors. With lockdown it was hard.
Yeah.
There was one person I wanted to be there, and he couldn't. He's my daughter's namesake.
Yeah.
That was hard. To realise that not just me, but me and my partner were going to go through this alone, without family. Yeah, it was like shit, but you didn't think of that when you're there.
Yeah.
But once afterwards I thought about that and I was like, that's crap, we did this alone.
Yeah.
I mean, I know COVID's affected a lot of us, but it, you know, didn't help. And when we found out when she came out, they realised how sick she was. So as soon as heart babies come out, they normally just do this quite simple procedure. They put something through the belly button, it goes to the heart, and it just makes a hole. And that hole helps the circulation, because her, you know,
Pump
bits
it
are in
all
the
around,
wrong way.
yeah.
They couldn't do that easily. It should have been very simple. It took a couple hours, and it should have been maybe an hour. That's, you know, we're told that I hadn't seen her since I had birthed her. I got to hold her for like 2 minutes. Yeah, that was hard. They just told us we need to take her. I was grateful I actually got to hold her, because we were told we might not even get to.
Wow.
Because of how sick she was. Yeah, they took her away. My partner went with them, and they took her like straight away. I had to, you know, get cleaned up and whatnot. We then got put in a ward for the night.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen her. I didn't see her again the next day until 11:30 in the morning. Oh, maybe 11. When I was getting calls from Starship saying we need you to come here, but I didn't know. And when it comes up, it just says Green Lane, so I'm calling back, but I don't know who's calling me.
Yeah.
And so I figured that out. I didn't know how to get over to Starship, and I was getting a bit frustrated. I was like, can someone just take me? Got there, and it's like in a room, and we're in PICU, which is the pediatric, you know, intensive care unit. There's four different beds in there for children.
Yeah.
For any possible heart condition, or, you know, something serious going on with them. And we see other babies in there, and then we see our baby with not just one nurse watching her, but 6, maybe more. I don't know.
Wow.
We just didn't really get much warning. We were just told, I need you to sign this, which was for the anesthetic. Because she was about to have heart surgery, which she should have had about a week old. She had it not even, just over 12 hours old. She had it.
Fuck.
And this is an 8-hour long surgery, 6 to 8 hours long. So I saw her, and then they took her. The surgeon, he was amazing. He was the type of surgeon I needed to hear from.
Yeah.
He was very straightforward. I didn't like beating around the bush.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear that. I wanted to hear the truth.
Yeah.
No matter how shit it was. I just needed that.
Yeah.
He told us, your daughter's very sick. She's a very sick baby. She has a lot going on. He said, I've never had a surgery go wrong ever, and I don't plan to now. But I have to let you know she's very, very sick. Yeah. And we had to sign forms, and then, yeah, just go away until 6 o'clock at night. We had to try to occupy ourselves, because we're not, I mean, I've lived in Auckland, but when I was a kid, so you don't know what to do. It's locked down. We just drove in circles, trying to occupy ourselves. And you're not really allowed to hang out in the hospital, you know, just with COVID. We went back probably an hour before she came out, but this was like 6 o'clock at night. We didn't see her till 7. We just sat there and waited. We're actually very lucky though that we're both allowed there the whole time.
Yeah.
We both could go on together. We didn't have to be separate. But it's just, when we finally got to see her after that big surgery, I don't think we wanted to register how serious it was.
Yeah.
Like, we could see it. She's hooked up to, I don't know how many different medications. I think there was like 8. Plus, her chest is open this whole time. So you can see her, like, you know, through here. She's this little 5-pound baby. Like, you don't expect to see their chest open, the breathing tube, a feeding tube, all tubes you can think of she probably had. And I just didn't want to register that. We were told she's very sick. She came out okay. They weren't sure what was happening yet though. Like, there was a lot of them working on her case. I don't even know how many. But the surgeon was very honest, which, you know, couldn't appreciate more, because he just was honest, and it didn't give me false hope.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean we didn't have hope.
Yeah.
It just meant just prepare for whatever is to come. It's okay. We're told there's a possibility within the next 6 hours she might need to go on ECMO. I had no idea what ECMO meant. But we didn't actually find out until 3 days later. So this was Friday. She came out of surgery, she's in there. We could stay as long as we wanted.
Cool.
There was no time restriction. When we went away to our accommodation, if we wanted to call at 2 in the morning, we could call at 2 in the morning. But we just decided for ourselves, we need to go, we need to sleep, we need to come back here and actually be ready to listen. We can't be half-assed and tight, because it's a lot going on and we're the only ones to, you know, work it out, and actually we need to know what's happening with her. So yeah, despite them thinking she would need ECMO 6 hours later, she didn't. She actually surprised them, which was really nice to hear. And they thought come Monday we might be able to close her chest. So she was 4 days old, 4 or 5 days old. It was the Monday they were going to close her chest. In early hours that morning, she actually arrested twice.
She what?
Arrested, like.
Oh, yeah.
Had a heart attack twice. We weren't there, because this was like 5 in the morning. Our routine was go home maybe like 10, come back maybe 8 or 9.
Yeah.
That was just our normal thing, to try and actually prepare yourself for a day. Like, sitting in the hospital, you're just sitting, but it's the most draining thing ever.
Yeah, yeah, fuck yeah.
It's draining. Yeah, we got a call that, you know, don't come in because the room's closed. We're trying to help your baby. When we came back, she was on ECMO, which is life support. And we didn't know that. They just kept saying ECMO, and we could have asked, but I guess, you know, you're like, ECMO, I don't know.
Yeah.
Until my partner looked it up and we realised she's on life support. Yeah, it didn't get better for her. It didn't get worse, but it didn't get better. And so what had happened while she was growing, her heart, when your arteries are crossed wrong, you need a hole in your heart to circulate the blood, because they're not on the right sides to, you know, flow like this. Instead, they're all mixing on one side. And doing that, the artery between her heart and lung was swelling, trying to find something that wasn't there. And this caused her lungs to swell against her heart so bad that it crushed the artery and it pretty much teared it. And you can't fix that in a baby, you know, she's so little. Who knows how big her artery would have been, maybe a couple strands of hair, I don't know. But it was not repairable. She slowly was able to come off different medications. Like, she didn't try, because I was expressing for her, you know, they're so encouraging. They're like, you know, keep up with this, you want to do this for when she comes out. They don't ever
just assume
they don't assume she's gonna go. They assume she's going home with you because she's yours. So that's what they give you. They tell you, make sure you're know, expressing, you know, she's gonna want all that yummy food. Like, they're just so good in there.
Yeah.
I don't think I met a nurse that made me uncomfortable. Like, they just want the best for you. They encourage you that even though she's lying there hooked up on tubes, you bath her, you grab the cloth and wipe her, which was very special because, you know, we weren't going to be able to do that. It was a lot of special things happening. And from the Monday to Friday, it was just the life support doing all the work. She couldn't do anything. It was the point of it though, to give her body that real rest. They were hoping that with this rest, when they attempt to take her off, she's okay.
He's strong enough.
Yeah, that was the goal, and that was the purpose of life support. Yeah, it was shit because we had a meeting on the Saturday.
These meetings sound pretty scary.
They were scary.
Yeah.
They were in a room with maybe 4 or 5 different surgeons, doctors, specialists. It was a lot of people and just us.
It's pretty intimidating, eh?
It was. I was grateful that one of the nurses, she are doctors, and she was the doctor for that weekend, which I think if it was a different one, I wouldn't have been able to cope. We sat down in a room with them. Yeah, you could tell it was a serious conversation. She opened our talk with a prayer, which was perfect. And she said to us, do we have any questions? Pretty much no. I just want to know what you want to tell me.
Yeah.
She told us this is various shit, is what she said. She was just so real. She said things aren't, looking good for your daughter, but we're not going to give up on her. It doesn't, just because it doesn't look like this now, it doesn't mean we're stopping. Like, we're not going to stop. We were told that come Monday, which was Labor Day, she will be coming off life support. This is a slow process where they just wean her off.
When you're off,
yeah. So, don't just take it off and it's her heart. It was very slow. I think it was a 2-hour process maybe. So, over that weekend, we just had video calls with her family because we kind of had to accept that was the only way.
Yeah.
They would see her alive. So, yeah, it was really shitty but very special. Like, we called family, we let them talk to her, one of her uncles made us playlist on Spotify that they all added music to, and we would just put it in her little bed with her and play. We would sing to her and she would roll her eyes at us. I was like, yeah, cool. She was just, like, it was shitty but special. But in that meeting, I asked the doctor, I said, if she can't do it, will she feel it? And, yeah. I just said I don't want her to feel it. They promised she wouldn't. And I believe that, once we got to that, I believe they did everything just in the best interest of her. So yeah, that's how that went. And I said, can we hold her if she does go? She said, you can do what you want.
Yeah.
That's your moment, not mine. So yeah, that was on Saturday. Come the Monday, it was about 5 o'clock in the morning. We went there and hung out with her for 2 hours before her surgery to come with the ECMO. That was shit. Like, you pretty much got told if she came back with life support, that's it. If she came back without it, they're hopeful that it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So, you walk out, like, we waited until they took her to theatre. She walks this way, you walk that way. So, shit. She came, we got a call, we had to go and do something, so we went and had a nap just to be prepared for that day.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was the 25th of October last year. We went and nap, just try to not sit there and do nothing, and then got woken up by a phone call. We're told Kalila will be back in maybe half an hour. You want to come in? So we went in, and it was like the biggest relief. She didn't have the ECMO machine.
Yeah.
It was just her. She had no life support. Her chest was open. She had all the drips and stuff, but she wasn't on that, and it was just like, wow, maybe.
So does that mean that her little heart was pumping everything around?
It was, but this included a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
That that the purpose was the drugs would do it, and then they'd just take it down, take it down. It was about a 3-hour process where they were trying to wean her off the drugs, and we'd hear this machine just beeping because her blood pressure's dropping, and that was her heart not working. Every time they'd hear that, they'd put more drugs into her just to, you know, help it. But it's like 3 hours of that. Yeah. Pretty much came like just before 3 o'clock. And you could just hear the machine going off, like it wouldn't stop. She had, let's say, about 4 nurses with her, and 2 doctors and 1 specialist, like just with her. And the doctor's just like standing there staring at the screen, and we're just sitting there like, you don't have to say.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we pretty much was just leaning on her bed, because it's like one of the little, like, ICU NICU beds with the little walls around it, just for warmth. I was just leaning on it, and I said, I think I want to hold her. And so, they closed the curtains. Me and my partner, we just sat and held her, and it was maybe not even a whole minute without that support, and she was gone. Yeah, it was shit, but it was quite nice. It was nice because we knew she's not lying there fighting for her life, you know? Like, you don't ever want to have to be okay with your child dying, but for me it was the only moment I felt okay, because she's not lying there anymore with her chest open and purposely drugged so she can't move. She was just herself. Sasha were very accommodating. Within the time she passed, I hadn't realised they cleared out the other 3 children in the room. They just told us, call your family, they can come.
Oh.
So, yeah, she was gone. But yeah, it was just okay. There was so much going on, I don't think I comprehended that she was gone.
Yeah.
She was still, I had her chest open and stuff, so I called some friends and family. We went back to our accommodation. And the shit thing I hate about that accommodation is we were due to check out that date. Like, that's the date we're booked up to. And we're allowed to extend it. And I was like, what's the coincidence of that?
Yeah.
That the date we were given, we could extend, but, you know, the date we were given was also the day she was gone. So that's annoying. But, you know, it's just how it is. So yeah, we just went back, cleared our stuff. We came back. They had closed her up. They did such a nice job. You know, it was the first time, apart from when she was fresh out with no tubes. She had a bit of breathing because the whole time she had tape.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just so nice to see her so perfect. So little. Yeah, they closed her up for us. They called in a lady from Baby Lost New Zealand, and she came and did her hand molds and feet. We got to bath her. We got to dress her in what we wanted.
Cool.
They gave us a lovely little Moses basket to put her in. And we stayed in Starship the night, and the next day we went home. And so we went home to Hawera. We got, from Starship, we got my family who live up north all exemptions to come to her funeral.
That's cool, eh?
Yeah. There was about 10 of them that came through. This was just all first family. Plus our family from Auckland. We went home to Taranaki. We had my partner's family there. This was the Tuesday, and we just had her at home for the week. I don't think anyone can tell tell someone how to plan a funeral for a baby?
Yeah.
You know, you're getting asked these questions, and no one forced us, but they had to be real and ask us. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. Same. Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I met the funeral director, and we carried our baby in this basket, and he looked at her, and I said, I want her till Friday. She's gonna stay till Friday. And he just said, okay. I said, will she hold nicely until Friday? Because we didn't have an autopsy or anything.
Yeah.
We just took her as she was and put her on ice. And he just said, I recommend you have her till Thursday. I said, no, I'm having her till Friday. And he said, okay. He left it. So yeah, we had her at home. It was super special. You know, she had family come from far north of Wellington. We all hung out at our house. Our house is quite special for her because it was bought intentionally for our daughter in a way. Like, it was going to be her home, so I didn't want to take her to Kaitaia, where I'm from. I wanted to take her to where we planned to raise her. So it was special. Her funeral was, it didn't feel like a funeral. It just felt like her cousins and aunties were in there reading to her, talking to her, playing cards with her. So, I don't know how you play cards with a baby, but they did. You could just hear them laughing, and it was, I think it was only recently I couldn't comprehend how many people a little girl that no one got to meet could bring together. We had, I know it wasn't allowed, but we had 50 plus people at her funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah, they came from everywhere just to meet her. She was so special. So loved. Yeah, we had her service at our house. We just set it up for her. People spoke to her. She is half Samoan, half Madi, NZ, Kiwi, whatever. So she got to hear that. Her Samoan side, one of her great uncles spoke something for her. I don't know what it was, but it was beautiful. We got to say something for her, and then as we took her out, her uncles did a haka for her. And it was very special.
Yeah.
It was just special. I don't think I could wrap my head around it. Like, this little girl, she brought two separate families together, and it was all to celebrate her.
Yeah.
We got her cremated, so yeah, we bring her everywhere with us.
Yeah. I know.
She travels in this, and we call it her bed.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's cremated. We have her in here, and anywhere we go, all trips we go on, she comes with us. She's just, we have different areas in the house. If we're in the lounge for the day, she moves to the lounge. If we're in the room, she comes to bed. So yeah, that's very special. But to put your baby in a stranger's car and they drive them off to be cremated, you're not allowed to do that. Yeah. You're not allowed to go with them because of COVID. You can't walk them in. You can't hand them over at the door. It's in a car park. And I had to put her in the car and say goodbye. Mm-hmm. I had to do it. I did it quite quickly, which probably looked like weird. Like, I just put her in. Yeah. Because if I did, it would the opposite way. But yeah, they took her. Yeah. That was hard. Yeah. But when you see your child literally fighting for her life for 11 days, you suck it up.
That's what I was going to ask. This only happened in October.
Yeah.
It's still raw.
Yeah.
What do you do for you to help you and your partner get through this?
We pray. I believe that everyone has a journey. Doesn't matter how good or shit it is. We're all given a purpose. I'm grateful that she chose us for her journey because it was a very special journey. It was not an easy one. And although I seriously wish she could have stayed, I'm just glad she picked us to say, hey, this is my journey and I choose you to take me through it. And so, when we say our nightly prayers, we just thank God for looking after her and all her family that's with her now. I like to tell my granddad to lap it up Because,
Yeah,
once it's
yeah.
my turn to birth, I'm like, sorry, there's no more sharing.
Yeah, I reckon.
It's just, it's probably the only way. And I do think that she's just with us always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on having another child?
I would love to have more children.
Yeah.
It's scary
Mm.
because this was also already such a rare heart condition. It's a scary thought, but I can't let it stop me in a way. It was always something that I wanted her to have more brothers and sisters. I wanted, just to have kids that have fun with each other, but it doesn't mean it's not scary.
Yeah.
But I've just decided it's like her picking us. Whatever happens next will be the same thing.
Yeah.
It'll be good or bad. We just,
Take it as it comes.
take it as it comes, definitely.
Is there anything else that you wanted to share?
I guess just a photo of her.
Yeah.
I just would like to pre-say it is a bit confronting to see because her chest is open. You can see tubes, but yeah. So this is our baby. I don't know if it's, her name is Kalila J. She is named after someone very special to me, which is my Uncle Jay. And Kalila was just the name me and her dad could agree on. She lived for 11 days, and I laugh because I think of my bias and think she's super pretty.
Yeah, man.
But that's just, this is our little girl.
Beautiful. Hey, we, on behalf of CWK and me and Leah here, we just want to say thank you so much for sharing with us. And we wish you and your partner the best for your fella's journey.